Hi guys, today I just want to show you some tricks of creating new dashboard to track what you care. So basically, in the last couple of videos, I have showed you how to triage on different problems and look at my CRM platform as a whole. But some of you may say that I'm just an ordinary developer, right? I just care what I do. I don't really, care. I don't have capacity to care about the entire platform. So what I do there, so my case or scenario is my goal is I want to make a dashboard just to track for authentication. So I don't care about anything else. I only care about authentication. So I started to list down what do I want to track. So from a front end perspective, I want to track the loading time of the login page and the loading of the home page and the action of actually clicking the login button to see what the response time and whether there are JavaScript errors of those. Now, backend, there are a few key API requests, which I want to track as well. And then the important third party Auth0, I want to track as well. So let's create a dashboard for those actions. First of all, to create dashboard, you just go to the dashboard section and click the create dashboard. Let's call that trend or cool. Dashboard created. So once that's done, you can start to drag custom chart to it and stuff. But let's skip that part for now. Let's go directly into the actions we want to track. Um, Easy part first. Let's go backwards. Easy part is how to track third-party stuff. So the third-party one I have introduced in the other video. How do you separate it out? Different third parties from request to public network and request to unmonitored host. So I have done that for Auth0.com. And then remember, it takes time for this new separation to gather enough stats. So once you give enough time, say for a day or so, we can actually see the stats of it. And it's very easy. Just pin to dashboard. Trend of 10. Okay, pin to it. So let's open dashboard and then we can see straight away of what happens to authentication. There are response times, there are number of requests, and also the red bar for failed request. Easy, that's done. So this is the third party part, which is pretty easy. Remember to click the done button, otherwise your changes will be gone for dashboard. So what's next? Let's do the API part, just because I'm more familiar with it. So login. Let's go to transaction services and open my CRM API. View dynamic request just to get into it. So clear that out. So request. I don't know what is the login API request. I'll just say maybe it should be called login. So let's filter those out for last 2 hours. Cool. So the top contributors will match whatever your filter is about. So as long as the request contains login, it will show below here. So if you click onto this request and ignore the options, of course, so it will only show this one request now, and the filter automatically change to that login request. So once you have done that, you can click the three dots, and click pin to dashboard. So pin. And again, for this kind of request, if you want to pin to dashboard, it takes time to actually load the stats. So you have to give it, depends on how frequent this request is executed. Normally, you probably need to give it at least half an hour to an hour for stats to be generated until you can see this. So yeah, create the dashboard as early as you can and, leave it there running and you will see how it goes over time. Okay, what's the next one? Update session and forget password. So let's check those two. Out. Oops. Cool. Requests, update session. Well, it is already there, so we can just click onto it. remember I made it a key request already. So a key request is the one that when you mark it as key request, you can actually track the stats for longer. So the stats is available for longer. And if I pin it to dashboard, to new dashboard, it should have the stats straight away. Let's have a look. Yeah, because I have pinned it as key request, that's why the stat is always kept. And yeah, if you want to keep your request, for example, /login, as a key request, you can do so as well. Feel free to do it. And then that request should always have stats, even you remove it from dashboard. And, even if you want to add it to another dashboard, the stats will be already there. You don't need to wait for it to generate stats. Oh yeah, sorry. By the way, marking add a request to dashboard automatically mark it as key request. So yeah, that's one way of doing it as well. Okay, last one is forget password. Request forget. Okay, this is not a very frequent request, so it doesn't show directly in the drop-down list. But oops, maybe I don't. What is that API request is called? Let's just say password. Maybe it's called reset password or something. Okay, let's find another way to filter this. So where request URL, yeah. Still no. Okay. So maybe this request is not available. Okay, let's skip this for now and go to the UI. Okay. Load login page, action login, and load homepage, which is after login. So the way to do that is go to applications and open one of the application. You probably have to do it for both because we separated out Australia and New Zealand. So there will be two dashboard items. And user actions. So top 3 user actions, view details to see more. So login page, I have already made it a key request because I wanted to track before. So in this case, you can directly open that and pin to dashboard. Pin, and we'll automatically have stats there as well because, yeah, I marked it as key request before. And the login action, though, I haven't marked as key request. Let's try to find that. So the way to find the login action is you guys know better than me what unique about login action, right? I'll just say login and try to filter everything. So top 100, change that to all user actions. Okay, let's see. So my gut feeling is that clicking on logging in is actually the user clicking on login button. Just for your information again, Dynatrace separates user sort of actions into 2 categories. One is page loads, called load action, and the other one is called XHR action, is user do something on the page, like clicking a button, scroll on the page and stuff. So logging, the action logging itself is of course an XHR action. So we can click on that and we can mark it as key user action, and then we can pin it to dashboard. But the other way to do it, I just want to show you the hard way to do it. So in future, you know how to, rename it and do it properly. So is to actually click into this application. Remember this, clicking on login button. So we can actually edit this application and go to user actions, naming rules. You can add a naming rule. This is how the the loading of login page become a pretty name instead of just the Dynatrace default user action. So let's say well, the rule applies for XHR action, right? Because it's not a page load, and result, let's call it action login, because it's a user action instead of page load. Okay, so what's the rule name? There are a few things you can choose from. The one I tend to find is action name. Actually matches better most of the time. So let's see, click logging in. I don't know whether that's the case. Okay, cool. So here is the entire. If you want to make it clearer, it's just click on login dot 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 page slash login. HTML. Okay, let's preview the rule. Cool. So you can see that the other rules are not affected because Dynatrace lists all the not matching rules as well, just for your information in case you match the not a unique string. So you can always make sure that your criteria is good enough to only match what you want to match for. Let's make it more clear. It's a action login button. So yep, we can preview rule again. You see this has changed. So we can add this rule now, and we'll create an unsaved rule, which is action task save action login button. Here it is. So you got to save it. Yeah, now it's saved. If you go back to application, Australian, and go to user actions, and you have to, again here, you have to wait a while for that action to show. So until some user actually clicks on the login button, you won't be able to see it here. Oops. Cool. Let's wait a while for someone until someone clicks on the login button, or maybe I'll do it. So refresh the page. So at least in a few minutes, it should show in the result. So click, yeah, login. Cool. That should trigger this generation. Let's wait for a few minutes, and then the last one is load homepage. And for convenience reasons, I have done that part as well. Load homepage dashboard. Just because this was a key user action, I have already added it. So you can just click into this and pin to dashboard. Pin. Okay, we'll view the dashboard later. So that's pretty much all the actions we have except forget password. Maybe we can try in user actions to see if we can see anything about forgetting password. No. Maybe that's why it's last 2 hours. Okay, here it is. Okay, click on forget password and load of the forget password page. We can definitely track those two actions as well for authentication purpose. And the proper way to do it is give it a good looking name and for both actions in the application settings. Remember, you have to change the settings for both Australia and New Zealand in order to do it to view the complete picture. For demo purpose, I won't do that. So let's have a look whether the login action is generated. Okay, not yet. Yeah, it's going to take a while to generate, but eventually this action login button should generate in the result, and then After that, we can click onto it and then click on pin to dashboard to have a new dashboard item. So after this is done, you go to dashboard, you will see this dashboard. And by the way, you can actually share this with other people. So users with this link can access, or you can um, share it with the entire team. So to make sure the team has the same view of some of the dashboard you have, and you can monitor. You can see that login page start to generate stats as well, and you can sort of view this together. Like if you have two screens, I recommend you put this screen always on one screen and see what's happening with it. Or every morning you go into an office for something or some features newly developed, you created the dashboard. Have a look and see what are, if there are any problems with it, and how is the response time tracking and stuff. So you can be proactively refining your feature instead of just waiting for user to report them. Cool. Hopefully that is helpful. Thanks, guys.